Hi. Something I've been thinking about um, for a while now. The contradiction um, between having to work really, really hard, um, you know, being taught by society for generations, like even in the Bible, like being taught that you have to work really hard um, to sustain your life, and but then in the same in the same breath, being taught, well, at least in the Bible, let's just say the contradiction between working by the sweat of your brow all the days of your life, right? And then the other lesson that Jesus teaches, where he talks about the lilies of the field and how they grow, and the birds of the air, and how everything in nature is provided for. You know, he talks about how we open ourselves up to receive, and saying that we just need to allow ourselves to have faith and to receive the gifts of God, universe, and that those things will come to us, because God knows what we need, right? But the problem is our lives have been programmed to sort of have faith, but not to the same degree that you put in your effort and you work for what you need. And so there's that imbalance and also contradiction of exactly what Jesus was teaching, teaching us to trust and to have faith, and our faith can move mountains and all these things, and all these Bible stories, of like, even you look at the story of Moses, and how the Israelites, they were enslaved, right? I definitely see a parallel with modern society, not just modern society, but society in general. Like, there's been historically, there's just this energy of enslavement, and we are enslaved right now by consumerism and corporate government, all the people, all of the entities at the top, that are basically running the show, deciding, making all the decisions for everyone else, and we are the ones that do all the work. So we're no different than those children of Israel, who were enslaved in Egypt, and needed to be freed. We're no different. Only we're not in cages. Not, you know what I mean? We don't have, not that they were in cages, but they were definitely being held there against their will. And yeah, I'm gonna sit down. Okay. They had taskmasters over them, and they didn't have a choice. They had to be there, and they had to do the job or die. Okay. And I know it feels like that for us energetically, and in some places of the world it is like that, and in some groups, even in the United States, it's supposed to be a free country, there's still enslavement, there's still things like that happening. But in general, I'm talking about this contradiction between the energy of having to work and like do, and the other energy of just being in your just being. Not, there's no requirement to do anything, right? You're just being. You're being who you are, authentically who you are, organically who you are, and you're not manufacturing. You're not manufacturing yourself, and you are letting I said that funny. You're letting the universe work with you. You're letting God work with you, or for you. And maybe work isn't the right word, because I think that it's not the right word. You're allowing yourself to just be, and you're trusting, you're stepping into that, what Jesus was talking about. You're stepping into that that energy and that belief, that faith, that is your divine right, that you receive what you need. And when the children of Israel were freed, and Moses took and led the way and helped them to walk to their freedom, and then they were in the wilderness for 40 years, right? Because they're in between worlds. The world of enslavement, and then the world of, now I get to do things of my own free will. Yeah. So they were in between those worlds, and they had lessons to learn, and that's kind of where I am, and maybe where you guys are right now too, feeling like the 40 years in the wilderness. Or maybe you haven't stepped out of that enslavement yet, but I think that's what's happening right now. Yeah, we're stepping out of enslavement, and it's uncomfortable, and we're so used to that biblical work by the sweat of your brow, all the days of your life. And it's like toil, 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 and sweat, sweat, sweat. And, we're used to that. And even though we have the teaching that Jesus taught about being like the flowers and the birds, and receiving the gifts from God, from the universe, that you don't have to work for it. It's going to come to you because you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be worthy of anything. It's just the universe will provide. But you do have a little bit of power in that, because it's your belief, it's your faith. And I think that's what maybe separates us from the animals in nature, is that they naturally they haven't been programmed the way we have. Okay, they haven't been programmed to work. They haven't been. They naturally just believe, and everything's instinctual, and they just go with the flow. Okay. So anyway, when the children of Israel, they were 40 years in the wilderness, and they were being provided for, right? And it was like new lessons that they were learning, that they were like learning how to rely on God, rely on the universe to provide for them. And it was a new thing. I think they did a little bit of that before, but like maybe without having to do all the work. Okay, because at one point they were provided with manna, right? Manna was like I don't know, it's been translated as, what is this? Something like that, like, I don't know, was it like a sort of like a bread or a fruit or who knows what it was, but like the point is that it was they were provided for. And it was even to the point where God wanted them to exercise that faith, that they would be provided for. And so there was even one instruction that in this story, that you do not gather manna on the Sabbath. And so the day before, if I'm remembering this right, yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm a little rusty on this part of the story, but something about no, wait, it wasn't that they don't gather on the Sabbath, right? I don't know. I think it was guys, I don't know if you guys know the Bible, help me out here. But anyway, something about, like they weren't supposed to gather more than they needed, right? And so they would gather what they needed. And if they gathered more than they needed, then they weren't exercising faith that it was going to be provided the next day. So the manna would get worms in it or something like that, and then they couldn't eat that. Okay, and so I don't remember all the details, but anyway, they were provided for, and they always had what they needed. Okay, and then even when they got like complacent and feeling like, ugh, I'm tired of eating this manna, and they started to complain that, why do we have to eat the same thing every day? And you know what? I am eating the same stuff every day. And my manna is being provided to me somehow. And, you know, my family is going through some financial stuff right now. My husband retired early from his corporate job, which it was not in the plan. It was, yeah. So we're having to make adjustments to things. But anyway, point is, we're being provided for. We're receiving our manna, and I'm receiving my manna. Like, I am eating the same stuff every day. Like, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner does not change. It is the same stuff every day. And I could be like, what the heck? Why am I eating the same stuff every day? I'm doing it for health reasons, because that's all I can eat, because my nervous system won't allow anything else right now. And this is what's helping me. And miraculously, and I've been eating this way for many, many months, okay, and it's sustaining me, and I am healing. And also, I don't have cravings anymore. I stopped having cravings, like, for stuff like really, really, really long time ago. Probably more than a year and a half has gone by. I don't have cravings for stuff. But anyway, yeah, so my point is, like, it can be really tiring to eat the same stuff. And at first it was really tiring to eat the same stuff every day. And you'd be like, dang it, can I just have like, I don't know, a burger? Can I have something? Can I have like something else? Do I have to just eat this every day? And that's like the children of Israel, you know, in the wilderness, like having their manna, and they're just like, I don't want to be vegan anymore. I don't want to not be able to eat the stuff that I ate before, and I want some meat. Give me some meat. Okay, so guess what? They complained, and then Moses, you know, did his magic, and basically now the quail came, and so they got to eat quail for who knows how long. So yeah, they got provided for. They got what they wanted, you know, and yeah, so I think my point is that we can be provided for. We can, like Jesus was trying to teach, and that Moses was trying to also teach and help the children of Israel to learn, is that you can rely on God, the universe. You know, you can rely on that, you know, put your faith and your trust in that. But you can't be divided. You have to be all in. You got to be all in. You have to really know, and you know, you have to expect the miracles. And I think that the contradiction, you have to stop believing. You have to stop believing that you have to work by the sweat of your brow for the rest of your life. You got to stop believing that. So maybe in the Bible, you know, with all the teachings, like I mean, that was like, what was that, Genesis? you know. And then by Exodus, they were like, is there like sort of a evolving people? Are they evolving into a different kind of people? You know, like we start out like, well, I mean, Adam and Eve were provided for in the garden, right? And then like they got kicked out of the garden, and then they had to work every day by the sweat of their brow and all that, right? But yeah, I don't know. There's just so much contradiction within all the stories of the Bible, and I think you really just have to make a choice. I think you got to make a choice, because there's too much duality. There's too much, like I said, contrast and contradiction, and you got to make a choice. Am I just going to keep going with the program of I have to work hard to get what I need and to sustain life? Or I can apply the teachings that Jesus gave, where I trust and I have faith that I will be provided for. And I don't know in what and I have to, like, you have to trust that it's just going to happen, and that you don't what am I trying to say? You don't know how. You're not the one deciding how it's going to happen, okay? You are the one that is just waiting with your arms out, waiting for the gifts to come in. And you don't know how it's going to happen. You just know that you're going to be provided for. You don't know how, but you just know. And you don't need to plan it out. You don't need to decide how those miracles will happen in your life. You just need to be willing to receive them. And I really think that's what Jesus was trying to teach us. And even Moses, like, I think he was trying to teach that too. And Moses, yeah, Jesus and Moses, like, you just wanted to free everybody. And so we need to stop giving our power away to the man, to whoever, whatever you think of as the man. Like, don't give your power away anymore. Don't be divided within yourself, and like, go all in and trust that everything will be provided for you, just like the lilies of the field and the birds of the air, and like, be all in. And yeah, watch the miracles come in. We are divine beings. There's no reason why we need to live life the way we've been living it. No reason. That's just bad programming and enslavement. So that's what I think. That's what I've been feeling for a really long time now. So, all right, that's it. That's all I have for today, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.